Micro Society series Youth Now. I'm Martin, your host. I'm excited to be bringing you interviews with exceptional young people who are working to make the world a better place. Today, I'm honored to introduce to you Orion Jean, a 13-year-old from Mansfield, Texas. Orion is known for his initiative, Race to Kindness, to spread kindness all over the world. Orion's work to collect and donate 100,000 meals to families in need and 500,000 books to kids with none at home earned him the coveted 2021 Time Kid of the Year award. Orion, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Why Race to Kindness? What inspired you to start this particular initiative?
Yeah, that's a great question. During the pandemic, I noticed a lot of the things that were happening all around me. It really kind of sparked just a moment of awareness in me. And for so many other kids I know who are trying to make a difference, the pandemic was kind of that moment for them where they realized that not only were there issues in the world that they were passionate about, but there were tangible ways for them to solve them. So for me, it was finding out more about those ideas and just kind of finding it in my heart to know that I wanted to do something to help. And, with a little bit of brainstorming, help from my family, friends, and of course, my community, the Race to Kindness was born.
Incredible. Now, you focused on meals and books with your events. Why those two things?
Well, for me, I think that with meals and books specifically, I think they were two of the most like things that had been impacted the most by the pandemic, things that had been, in availability affected the most. For meals, there's already been a food insecurity crisis in America in many different large cities, but with the pandemic, it was amplified. And personally, I am an avid book reader, book lover. You can't see it right now, but right next to me, I have about 50 books just like in a pile right there. So it has always been something that I'm passionate about. But knowing that there are kids out there who just don't have access to that kind of thing is, it was something that really broke my heart because I wanted as many kids as possible to be able to have the joy of literacy and to know that, books were always there for them, like they were always there for me.
Nice. How did you plan and organize your events?
Of course, yeah, the logistics part of it was of these races was very difficult at first. I'm not going to lie, but I think that it was all worth it. Part of it was through social media, which is honestly a blessing, just being able to have a platform to share my voice. And after the first race, I had the opportunity to be on Good Morning America, which introduced more people to my cause, where I was able to, have more followers and more people know what I was doing and find nonprofit partners and host events in my community and corporate sponsors and all these things that I would not have known about to have reached out to. But I think that the knowledge came with each race. I learned more about how to plan.
Wonderful. What donation event is the most memorable to you?
Well, I'd say the most memorable event that I've ever held was one of my Race to 500,000 books, Race to Kindness free book fairs. After I collected all the books for the Race to 500,000 books, I knew that I wanted to get them out like directly into the heart of the city where people needed them. So by holding these book fairs, I knew that it was an opportunity for all the kids who weren't able to go to their regular school held book fairs and buy books because they were just too expensive. So it was amazing to get to see the joy on the kids' faces when they were able to pick out as many books as they wanted, the new Wimpy Kid or Dog Man, or just, books that they wouldn't have had opportunities to read otherwise without having to pay money that they didn't have for it. So I think that was impactful to me because I got to see the direct impact of, not just my actions. It wasn't just my actions. It was a culmination of so many people's passions, and it was truly amazing to see.
Now, you were named Kid of the Year in 2021. Congratulations, first of all. What was it like to be nominated and ultimately win?
It was an amazing feeling to be named Time Kid of the Year. Uh, I honestly wasn't expecting it. I had no idea because there were just so many other kids who were doing just as amazing things in their communities as well. And it was amazing to see that, my efforts were being recognized, and it gave me a bigger platform to put my voice out there and get more people involved in the work in the community. And I think that just being nominated among, kids who are kind of like my idols, who were, doing things in their community to help others, it was truly an amazing feeling just being able to be mentioned among them, let alone win. So I think that that was an experience I'll never forget. I remember walking into a room after, just however many minutes or hours of waiting, and they were like, okay, there's going to be cameras in there, so don't worry. But just talk normally. Okay, it's going to be fine. And I had no idea what was happening. And I walked in, and I see Trevor Noah and the previous Kid of the Year winner and that girl Lele and young Dylan all standing there. And Trevor Noah says to me, "You have reached the end of your journey, and you are Time Kid of the Year." It was definitely an experience I will never forget. Just the feeling of knowing that the work that I had put into creating these projects and trying to help others was being recognized.
That's incredible. I mean, that seems magical. It's like going to the Oscars, but for kids, basically.
I know, right? Yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, did you get to meet any of the other nominees? If so, what was it like getting to know them and the work they were doing?
Yes, absolutely. I quite a few of the nominees from that year were actually from Texas, so that was a fun experience. One of them, Cash, I got to know him well. DJ Annie Red, who was I want to say in the top, she was in the top bracket as well. I got to know her. I recently just did a project with her. I also met Jaden. Jaden, he helped film the special with me in like kind of his hometown in New York, so I got to find out a lot more about his initiative as well. I recently just saw him on something. So it was amazing to know that, because sometimes when you're doing projects like these, it's easy to get overwhelmed and to think that there just aren't enough like examples of other kids who are doing this. Like, who else out there? Like, where else can I see something like this for me to look up to? And to know that there were just so many different kids who were doing different causes, that was truly impactful to me. It gave me the opportunity to know that we as a generation are doing our best to make a difference in our communities, no matter where we are, no matter where we're from, no matter what we believe in. That is something that brings us all together. The want, the need to make our world a better place. Just seeing so many other kids out there who were just like me, who were passionate, who wanted to make a difference, who wanted to do their best, that inspired me to keep going. That motivated me just to know that even if I stopped today, if I stopped trying to spread kindness, which I wouldn't because I love spreading kindness, but if I stopped, there would be so many other kids out there and adults and people all over the world who are just ready to pick up the ball, ready to keep going, and ready to continue making a difference. And that was what inspired me the most, that passion.
That's incredible. Um, what new opportunities came your way after winning Kid of the Year?
Yes, yeah. After Kid of the Year, I received a lot of media opportunities. I was on the Kelly Clarkson show. I was, on many different media projects, and it gave more attention to my race to 500,000 books. We were able to reach our goal. We are still in the process of distributing potentially in the project of another race, but you didn't hear that from me. I was able to release my first book. Actually, that was before, but I am releasing my second book, a children's picture book called Race to Kindness, which is actually going to be released in May next year.
So, a book, you say? So, I noticed that you named it after your initiative. May you tell me a bit about the plot of the book? Like, what are you planning on doing? What type of book is it going to be? Like, all that. I'm just generally.
Yes, yeah. The book is called Race to Kindness. It is surrounding just, it gives tangible examples for kids and adults of all ages to spread ways to be kind. It's, an easy, fun to remember. It's exciting. It's built around the acronym Be Kind. I won't tell you what it stands for, but you'll be able to find out when the book comes out. But I'm just excited to see the world's reaction to it, because I remember when I read kind of the first completed version of it after I had worked on it, and I was like, this is hopefully going to be the book for someone that makes them realize that they want to go out and try to make a difference and be kind. That is what I hope people will take away from the book. So I'm so excited for everybody to see it. Yeah, pre-order now wherever books are sold. It's definitely an exciting experience.
That's incredible. I mean, you're a 13-year-old author. That's awesome. I mean, let's hope that book gets a lot of success, because it's, then again, kindness is an important thing, and writing an illustrative book about it sounds pretty cool. But
Yeah.
anyways, what are your future plans for Race to Kindness? Do you have any events coming up, perhaps?
Yeah. Right now, I am mostly focused on the day to day of trying to spread kindness in whatever I do, wherever I go. But another race is definitely not off the table. There have been some talks about it, some ideas potentially floating around. Maybe I'll keep it cryptic just to, keep people interested. But the race to kindness is not about me. I am just kind of a vessel for the message. And I want people to take away, if they forget everything else that I do, I want them to take away that feeling of inspiration, that feeling of hope, of knowing that they have the ability to change the world. That the race to kindness is, it's a marathon. We are all involved in it. It is something that we can all participate in just by holding the door for someone or giving somebody a compliment. That those are the small things that can help create a ripple effect that can change the world.
Incredible. I mean, then again, kindness is what makes the world a better place, and people feel better, at least. Yeah. What is your ultimate goal with Race to Kindness?
One of the reasons that I didn't start the race to kindness, however, earlier, was because I didn't know it was possible. I didn't know that there were kids out there who had done something like this before. I thought that saving the world was specifically reserved for adults. I want to inspire. I want to be that figure that will inspire kids to go out and be like, hey, I have this idea about what I want to do in my community, or even beyond kindness. I have this idea about something that I want to do, something that I'm passionate about, something that I dream about, and go out and do that. Because honestly, if you don't do it, who will? The world isn't going to wait for you to make that difference. It's not going to stop getting worse if you don't make that change. It will only get better if you help it. That is what I want everybody to take away from this race that we are all in together.
That's quite a goal. That's great that you want to do that. And also, you mentioned how, like, you used to think that it was only for adults, and how you are now managing it proves both your point and the point that micro society has when teaching children. Children are capable of a lot, and that's something that we mention all the time here. But then again, it's a truth. Children have opportunities that they can use. So it's wonderful that you mentioned that, just to further prove the point that children are capable.
Agreed.
Now, do you have any other projects you are currently working on?
Well, besides the book, like I said, comes out May 2024. That's exciting. I am also, like I said, just trying to do my best to be kind in my everyday, day-to-day life. Because sometimes one of the easiest ways to be kind, and I think that this is something that's lost on a lot of people, including me before the race, is that sometimes one of the easiest ways to be kind is to just choose not to be mean. That can be as simple as it is. That's all it is. Just choosing not to be mean to others, choosing to be kind. That is the choice that I want every kid to make for themselves, every adult, every person to make for themselves.
That's great. How has your family supported you with your endeavors?
My family has been such a vital part of this project, and I would not have been able to do this without them, because if they hadn't encouraged me from the very beginning, they had not supported me, they had not actively given me more ideas and cheered me on and told me that I had the ability to do something like this, because without them, I wouldn't have known that I had the ability to do something like this. That was truly amazing, honestly. It was something that I will always treasure. Their support, their love, their unconditional, constant love is, I think, what's built me up throughout this project and kept me going.
Yeah. So I love how like you mentioned how families and your family in general is a motivation. It's great to have motivation because it just pushes you to do better and bigger things. Um, Now on to the next question. What do you hope to achieve, not just in your community, but around the world?
I want us to be more kind to one another. Honestly, if you look at the state of the world today, beyond adults, just kids, if we could just choose to be kind to one another, to be nicer to one another. I mean, imagine what this world could be like. I mean, here's the analogy that I always use. If 20 people decided to be kind to 20 people, one person decided to be kind to 20 people, multiply that by 20, that's 400 people who are now impacted by that kindness. And they choose to be kind to people, and they choose to be kind to someone, they choose to be kind to someone. That is a ripple effect that can, I know I keep saying change the world a lot, okay, but it's true. It can change the world. It can.
Yep, that's basically. I like how you used that example of 20 people being kind to 20 people. It's wonderful because like you're so smart when it comes to kindness, and that's what the world needs is like somebody who advises and cheers on kindness and someone who establishes things that help spread kindness. That's something that the world needs, and as you say, um change the world, that's a great thing.
Thank you.
Okay, as you know, microsociety is a global network of schools. Did you have a chance to read anything about us, and if so, what do you think?
Yes, I did. I love the concept of having kids get to run their own city, their own, world, because honestly, not gonna lie, kids could probably do better at running the world than adults could. So, but don't tell anybody I said that. The entire concept is great, and it gives kids an opportunity to practice real world skills in a setting before they get to the real world. So maybe they'll have a little bit more experience and practice than, a lot of the adults when they get there.
Microsociety students work in 6 strands, the last of which is the heart strand. Race to kindness fits perfectly in our heart strand. What advice do you have for our kids who want to spread kindness in their microsociety communities?
I'd say the best advice that I could give is just do it. I mean, we think about trying to make a difference. We think about trying to be kind to others, but is it really as hard as we make it seem to ourselves to just do it, to choose to be kind to someone, to choose to spread those values? Because I think that by waiting and telling ourselves in our head, today's the day I'm going to be kind, today's the day, but never acting on it, we are stopping ourselves from making that difference. We are stopping ourselves from making not just others better, not just making their day better, but by making ourselves better. I think that just choosing to get out of your own head sometimes and to act on your ideas. This applies to anything, not just kindness, but specifically kindness. Just choose to do it.
Do you have any advice for adults about things they can do to help children find their voice, become an advocate, and make a difference?
And that's a great last question. I would say to adults, one thing that has definitely helped me was seeing my parents model that kind of behavior for me and instilling that in me young. That kindness is something, it's just a fact of life. It's just how you treat other people. Kindness is, just by choosing to be nice to someone or give a service to someone, that is something that can be instilled at any kid from a young age. But beyond that, I would say finding what they're passionate about, finding what issues they care about, and encouraging them as they come up with solutions, helping them, talk about solutions. I actually write about this in my first book, Kid Book About Leadership, also available on Amazon and wherever you buy books. So some of the things that I say here is, if your kid comes to you with an idea, help them figure out the best way to make it happen. Encouraging them is one of the best ways to do that. Help them identify and celebrate their strengths and teach them their weaknesses so that they are able to take both of those in stride and use those to make themselves better. And lead by example. Honestly, that's the best thing that I would say. Lead by example. Choose to make that difference, because that is what inspired me.
That's incredible. So I really love how you encourage this. You're so smart in all your advice, your quotes. That's incredible. That's just I feel like you have a great chance at making an effect on the world and on many others around us, And one thing that is quite a common quote is leave the world better than you found it, because that's a great part of life. And again, that's a great motivation. And you really follow upon that by spreading kindness and literally running an initiative, writing books, all of these, and you're only 13. That's incredible.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Orion, thank you so much for showing us that just by showing kindness, we can make a positive impact on those around us. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. And to my fellow Micro Society peers, if you have a story or know a student who you would like to appear on our show, please send your nominations to us at bettertogether@microsociety.org. That's bettertogether@microsociety.org. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone.